Let us pray. Heavenly gracious God, the words of my mouth and the meditation of all our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O rock, our Redeemer. Amen. Okay, now, as we all know that we have been doing Psalm 23, and word by word, verse by verse, we have been meditating. It has been a great blessing for me. I'm sure that it is a blessing for all of you as well. But today, the verse what we see is the later part of verse 5. The first part we have already meditated upon. That is, you prepare a table before me with the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. And the same verse ends with, my cup overflows. Everything is a surprise in this whole verse of 5. You prepare a table, that's okay. But before my enemies, that's a surprise. That's also an honor. That's a surprise for the enemies as well. Okay, but you anoint my head with oil. We talked about it last week, about how anointment is being done in royalty when they do their coronation, sometimes in our day-to-day lives, how we do it. And the final part of verse 5 is, my cup overflows. Can we have that slide? My cup overflows. You see the cup overflowing. Some restaurant made a mistake. It's overflowing.
Yeah.
And somebody has added overflows with your blessings. That is inside, hidden. That goes without saying. When we say my cup overflows, King David means that my cup overflows with your blessings. That's a hidden part inside. But not a secret. We all know about it. My cup overflows with your blessings. In Hindu mythology, just thought about this one. There is a vessel called Akshaya Patra. Can we have the picture? Akshaya Patra. And in the mythology, God will provide that lady with that vessel. And, whatever you think of, you can just put your hand and it will come out. Especially food. Unlimited food. You can take and give it away. That is just a story. But just imagine the same experience with all of us. Our cup. So Akshaya Patra means a vessel which you can take enough and enough, it overflows. Unlimited. Our blessings are also like that. Unlimited. I'm just thinking about my grandfather back home in my city. My grandfather was a ruler for that area. He was the leader and ruler for that area. So several people will come to his house. He was like also a judge. They don't go to court or police station. They go to the leader first. The leader will decide, okay, you're wrong, you're right. You just pay some fine and you're fine.
He wants your money.
It's like that. So the ruler, sometimes, yeah. So my grandfather's house will always have food extra. My grandmother will prepare food extra for at least 10 people every day. Sometimes it will be gone, sometimes it will be carried over to the next day. They put some water into the rice so that it doesn't get spoiled. And the next day you can eat that. every day at least for 10 more people. The food will be ready. Anybody will be coming for some consultation, for some compliance, for some clarification, for some counseling. People will come, and the first thing my grandfather will tell them is, why don't you go eat? And let's come discuss. You know, they come with like angerness, they eat, and then they settle down. You know, they calm down, and then the decision will be easy. Because when your mouth and the stomach is full, you are always in a good mood. If you're hungry, then you're tensed. You know, you tend to do a lot of things that unwanted, things that you end up doing, and you realize that was a mistake later. So that's what does. In Asian tradition, we don't empty the vessel. That's a wrong signal. We don't completely takes away everything, the food. Even if you have to waste a little bit, we don't, you know, put the spoon inside and just put everything in the plate. We don't do that. We will leave a little bit inside, so that it reminds us that, you know, our vessels don't become empty anytime. It's like a tradition. Okay. But here, David, when we talk about, when he wrote this part of verse, my cup overflows, just imagine again, what was the circumstance that he wrote this? He was in the wilderness. He was already anointed to be the king, but he did not become a king yet. He was a shepherd. So the wilderness, going into the forest, is not a big deal for him. He was always, you know, going there on a daily basis. If you look at this picture, he was always in the wilderness as a shepherd. He knows nook and corner of that wilderness. Where he can hide, where is the shadow, where is the cave, where is the water. He knows everything. So it was easy for him to run away from King Saul, who was hunting him to be killed. So he went into the wilderness. I don't know where he stayed, what he ate. The sky was his roof most of the times, unless he finds a cave to shelter himself. His sheep were not there. I'm sure that his father has assigned someone else to take care of it, because he was gone out of the house completely. He was like a runaway, both from his house as well as from King Saul. I don't know what kind of food. Just imagine, maybe the food what he would have eaten is not unlike John the Baptist. Maybe some dates. Yeah. That's all he would have eaten. Morning, evening, and night time, every time, whenever he became hungry. But still, what courage and what audacity when he says, my cup overflows. He had nothing for himself. No shelter, no proper clothing. I don't know how long he's been wearing the same thing, same clothing, same outfit for a long time. But he says, my cup overflows. And that is the attitude to be of a believer like you and I. We have to always say, my cup overflows. What King David meant here is that he had enough of it. He did not go hungry. He had enough. He could go pluck some fruits and eat. And there was a I showed the pictures that I took a picture when I went there, you know, waterfalls. Clean and nice water. Clean. It's like a mirror that you can see inside. Transparent. You can see the bottom of it. That's how clear the water was. Just take a look at this picture. This is like a cave. And there are really caves. And who knows, the animals could be living inside there, but he was not afraid of animals. What he had to do, he will go there and just chase away the animals and then go live it. When I was a missionary, I was a project manager in the mission field of a missionary organization in India. So we went to a remote place to share gospel and also to help the poor people over there. It's called the Friends Missionary Prayer Band. That is the largest missionary organization of the whole world. When I went there, there is no bathroom there. There is no facility. There is a small room where they used to sell alcohol earlier. And the village people did not want to give a place for the new missionaries like me. My project manager it was a community development project. As soon as I completed my master's in social work, I got this. It was like a ministry, but doing social work. We got only this place where they used to sell alcohol, and a neighborhood there was a big mango orchard. The mango orchard means there will be a lot of snakes. So they could snakes. There will be a lot of snake bites.
Yeah.
So they used to come run to my place in the midnight, knock my door, and ask for some alcohol. It's called arak. When they drink a little bit, it subsides the poison. Meanwhile, they have to take them to the hospital. Then I spoke to my management and brought some medication for snake bite and kept it always, and I became a doctor myself. Whenever the people come, then I'll put the injection and will give them the medication. Snakes will be everywhere. In the night time when we get back, we go to the nearby town to buy stuff. We had a day school, and we will provide them with food and all the children will come. And a funny thing happened. Somebody went and complained that I'm preparing all the children to eat well and become like nice and good looking, and then I will take them away to America. Somebody spread the rumor, and one more fine morning nobody came. And I went and inquired what happened. This is what the rumor spread all over. Then I had to go to house by house, convince them. There were about 10 people under me, teachers and cooks and everywhere. Then I brought them back. Okay, that's a nice story. But there was no bathroom. The funny thing, you have to go to the field only for the bathroom and come back and go to a nearby well to clean yourself, to take bathing and all. So into the well, when you go inside, in the last few steps, snakes will be there in all the steps. So when I go there, then I have to just put my foot on top of it. Tap, tap, tap. Then the snakes will go away into the well. And then I have to quickly. This is what animals will be there. When we go to the nearby city to buy all the stuff, and when we come back, when we walk on the road, we always wear sneakers and walk like tap, 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 so that the snakes will give way to us. That's how it was.
Were you ever bitten? Were you ever bitten?
No.
Were you ever bitten?
No. Thank God.
Yeah.
God protected. Not even once. A few times I had direct encounter with them, but I always escaped. Okay. A few other stories about the snakes, we will talk about it later on, with me encountering. Okay, that's how in the caves, animals should have been there. So when David goes inside, he has to just chase them away. Go, go, go. I have to sleep here.
Yeah.
And then he will go inside and sleep. at that time, during those difficult times, David says, my cup overflows. What courage and what satisfaction that he really would have had to say this, that he had enough, and my cup overflows means he had more than enough. How many times we think in our lives, oh, I have enough. I have more than enough. How many times we think about it? To be thankful for what we have. To be thankful what God had provided and has been providing for all of us. Thankfully, we say. And also not unhappy about things we don't have. Usually we are not happy with what we have. We are always worried about what we don't have. We always complain about small things. When you have a bicycle, oh, I have. When you have to walk, we think about bicycle, motorcycle, bicycle. At least, if I have a cycle, it will be easy for me to travel back and forth. When you have a cycle, no, everybody is going in motorcycle. I have to pedal myself. If I get a motorcycle, it will be better. Once if you get a motorcycle, oh, everybody is going fast in the car. If I get a car, it will be nice. And if you get a car, this is just a Japanese car. If I get a BMW, it will be nice. It doesn't go over. And those who are going in BMW, you think they are satisfied? No, come and look at me. We look at Rolls Royce. Talking about not only yourself, myself as well. That's what happens in our life. We never satisfied, never content in our life. But we have to learn to say, my cup overflows. My cup overflows. God has blessed us enough. And God says, my grace is sufficient for you. My grace is sufficient for you. When Peter cribbed about some things, I have a thorn myself. I have to live. I don't know what kind of a thorn that he had. He did not mention that in Bible. But he had a thorn. He says, I have a thorn. I have to live with this. But your grace is sufficient. Okay. Not being unhappy about what we don't have. We always, God expects us to say, my cup overflows. I have a shelter. I have colorful clothing. I have food to eat. When did you think that you went hungry? Any time in your life. How many people are hungry without a meal a day? But you and I, God has blessed us to have 3 meals, 4 meals, 5 meals, whatever we want. And according to the statistics in USA, in America, United States of America, people waste 40% of the food. 40% of the food. When we go to a restaurant, you order food, you only are able to eat 40% or up to 60%. And it goes waste. If you go to Dunkin' Donuts in the evening time, as per their rule, they have to destroy the remaining food every day. How much of food is being destroyed every day? The destroyable wheat, because sometimes they overproduce wheat in order to just prevent the rate to go below the normal. they put the wheat, throw the wheat into the sea. Can you believe it? Because when you overproduce, you don't want to go to the market because the price will go down. So they just destroy it. An Indian government, long time back, 70s, they negotiated with them, said, don't throw into the sea. Send it across to us. There are several children can be benefited. That's called CARE, C-A-R-E program. And I remember, when I was a student, the CARE wheat will come, all the poor children will come and eat that midday meal. And then the government introduced midday meal for all the students indigenously. So when you say my cup overflows, you have enough and you have more than enough. Well, when you have more, you have to share. That's what God expects. When you have more, sometimes we feel, we don't have enough. More and more. It doesn't end at all. Never be satisfied. But that is not the kind of person God wants all of us to be. And we say, my cup overflows. And you decide to share the remaining part with others. Even when you have enough of it, you don't have more, you have enough. But even in the enough thing, you should have a mind to share with other things, other people, other world, third world. I heard about a hillside place in India, and there it's a tribal people, like Native Americans, the tribal people, no education, no proper food. They live in the wilderness, away from the regular community. They don't even dress properly. Especially the male people don't have shirt at all, just some loin clothing. That's how they are. They look different from the society. They don't mingle with the society people. They don't become one among, they don't want to become one among the rest of the community. No entertainment for them. And they live in groups. And I have identified that village. And I said, I have to help those children to educate. They go to a school, they don't even pass the school of the primary school of 5th grade, and they don't go beyond that at all for several hundred years. When I went there, I decided that I need to educate those children. I have to help that village. So I have taken several villages, started helping with my own money initially. Now there are a couple of people, my friends, came forward to help me. And for the past more than 15 years, we are helping that village. And people, first generation children have been educated. They finished their primary school, they went to the middle school, they went to the high school. Now they are in college now. Can you believe it? First generation. That is the satisfaction one can get. Small money, $20 per month per child that I spend, or sometimes less. We don't give them money at all. I provide for the children whatever the child needs. Books, writing material, and personal clothes, chappals or shoes, bags, small table and chair for the children to study, soap, oil, everything we provide. I have appointed a person who will buy whatever they need. That's how because when you give money, the money will go to the parents will not spend for the children. They will skip their work and go for.
Wow.
I would like to show some pictures about the project. That's called the Goodwill Foundation. Goodwill Foundation, if you go Google, these are all the children Shall I support and educate? Educate. Now, so the second sort of children we have chosen, that is the guy that I have appointed as a manager. He's like a local pastor, converted from Hindu as a Christian. He doesn't have this part of hand. Some accident, he lost his the phone. And these are all the children. This was a Christmas celebration. We provided all new clothing for all the children. In fact, my family, including my brother's family, my family, we visited there. And we conducted some sports event to them. We did that. That's called, you can Google Goodwill Foundation to know more about the ministry that I'm doing at this part of India. It's a look at the people, they are all looking different.
Look at their colorful clothes.
Yes.
That's in your state, Tamil?
It's in Tamil Nadu. They speak. If you see some elderly people, the women and all, their dress is completely different. The children, we are giving them modern dress, like pants and shirts. But all the other people, but they are very clean people. When I visited along with my family member, what I decided, I'm going to feed the entire village. So we hired the cooks and prepared food for the entire village. But nobody came to eat because they have their self-respect. They don't want to eat from other people. But I had to go again and convince them. And I sat with them and ate together, all of us, our family members. It's a good thing. So when you say my cup overflows, you have to really mean it. So shall we all say that my cup overflows once? My cup overflows.